that's easy. Don't be discouraged. You see, we were very young. I was 26 when we did all this, and Nancy was younger than that even. So we were too young to really know what a difficult job it was going to be. And so the piece of luck there was we were just too innocent and too naive and too young to realize that we couldn't get it done. And that's the advice that I should give to the young people. Young people should know that unless they try, they'll never know whether they can succeed. And in the case of historic preservation, you've just got to swing the bat and give it a try, and maybe you'll succeed. And you certainly won't if you don't try.
Be proactive. If you care about preservation, don't wait until there's a threat to your neighborhood or to some historic property that you love and think is important to the city of New York. Very often there's a tension between development and preservation, and when it gets to the political process, it's already too late in many cases. You have to know what you're for.
I believe that a new approach is clearly in order. We need to create a culture of collaboration rather than of confrontation, to share our commitment to our legacy with all New Yorkers. We need to engage concerned groups, each with their own interests and responsibilities. We must engage them to work together. It is long past due that we begin to reason together to initiate constructive engagement in acts of urban civility and discourse. We need to talk to each other, and we may find that our commonalities are greater than our differences. By reaching out to realtors and judges, doctors and historians, scientists and athletes, bankers, dancers and musicians, essayists and poets, artists and architects, bike riders, runners, and rowers, to all New Yorkers who follow their dreams, to work together. Because then we can build bridges of understanding that go beyond the built environment. We can develop policies and create initiatives. So what I ask of each of you tonight, please get involved in whichever way you choose.
Do what you think you have to do. That's the only advice I can give.
I think that for young people, and I teach young people who want to get involved in preservation, is just to go out there and get involved. That people get involved in preservation because they have a passion for it, a passion for the environment, and a passion for preserving what's good about the architecture of the past so that our city can be a dynamic place in the future. And you just have to plunge in. You just have to go out there, be heard, go to public hearings, take part, work with community groups, work with not-for-profits, and make your mark, because everybody and anybody can do that.
Well, when people ask me about things about New York and the history of the neighborhoods and the history of the city, I hate to say this, Simeon, but I always say you really should contact Simeon Bankoff at the Historic Districts Council, because he knows everybody in the world of New York that wants to keep something of the past in this city. And this is one of the reasons why I've always loved what the HDC does. I mean, you guys understand that if we don't have old neighborhoods, we might as well be Dubai. Does it make any difference? I mean, look at 6th Avenue in the Flower District. They rezoned it in the 2000s. You go up 6th Avenue in the Flower District. Well, what Flower District? If you call 60-story condos flowers, they're there. What makes any city special are the older neighborhoods and the impressions of the past that make that city distinctive. And who is really fighting for that? I mean, yes, there are numbers of groups, but I really have to admit that I love what the Historic District Council does, because you gather it all together. It's the district, it's the neighborhood. It's not just a single building. It's the whole neighborhood.
Well, I guess you have to have some kind of feeling for them, and I think it's a dual feeling. It's the intellectual feeling in the head, and it's the emotional feeling in the gut. That goes without saying. But I think in terms of young people today, one of the interesting things is that they can couple a love of sustainability and of the environment with preservation of historic buildings. Because as Carlo Lafonte, the architect, said, the most sustainable building is the one that's already built. And I think we all recognize that and know that. So it's a great way to put these two things together. And so many young people, are passionate about sustainability, that if they're equally passionate about historic buildings, it's a great fusion, I think.
Wherever I go, I talk to people about historic buildings because we need young people, we need old people, we need everyone to help us. And if you see a wonderful old building in your neighborhood, endangered, then you have to get out there and research a little bit. Find out how old it is. Find out who built it. Find out who prays there. And see if you can persuade people to help you save this wonderful landmark, whatever it may be. An old building, an old church, an old hospital. Whatever you see that may be lost, we need you. We can't do it alone. We need everyone in this city to help.
I reviewed your feel-good questions and have no interest in contributing to this orgy of self-congratulation. The plain fact is that landmark preservation faces a crisis in the real world of today, and HCC's Lions and their supporting organizations have been unable to collaborate to confront the crisis. Instead, we celebrate our history, our past successes, and our supposed heroes. We should be mobilizing and fighting. This is not a time to pat ourselves on the back. It is a time to get together and kick ass.
I have been accused by a number of people of having ruined their lives by supporting their involvement in preservation battles. I think the advice I would give people is a couple of things. One, commit for the long haul. You really need to realize you're going to have to make a significant investment of time and passion, but it's well worthwhile. I would encourage you to both hang out with longstanding preservationists so you can get a little sense of the tradition you're a part of. Also to pick up some war stories, but not necessarily to emulate them. Times change, tactics change. We need a new generation of creative people advancing the preservation agenda. So I would tell you, bring all of your enthusiasm, bring your new ideas into the preservation world. Don't take no for an answer. Don't accept the fact that it's always been done one way, and go to it. The city needs a new generation of preservation activists to continue the wonderful work that's been done not only for the last 50 years, but for the 50 years before that helped lead up to the Landmarks Law. So gird your loins, and as they said at Casablanca, welcome to the fight.